We're back. Hey, good to see everybody. We're going to tell a story today. We got a story today that doesn't really lend itself too well to action figures or even drawings or even like costumed retellings because it gets really violent and kind of gross. Is anyone excited about a violent, gross story? Okay, no. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to read the story, and I want you guys to listen to the story, and you too, listen to the story, and tell me if it reminds you of something. A little something that happens right before Easter. What happens before Easter?
God gets killed.
Jesus gets killed, yes. And there's a trial and all sorts of stuff. So see if there's some similarities to this. So basically what's happened is King Herod knows about Jesus. He's very popular. And what he hears about Jesus, people are like, I think this is another John the Baptist. This is John the Baptist raised. This is why he has the power to do miracles. Others said, maybe Jesus is Elijah. Others claimed he's a prophet. He's like one of the prophets from long ago. But when Herod heard this, he said, I had John's head cut off. Now he's been raised from the dead? Because that's what they're wondering. Like, is this John 2, the sequel? John the Baptist, the sequel? See, Herod had done this. He had had John the Baptist's head cut off. And you may be wondering, why would you have John the Baptist's head cut off? Well, what had happened was Herod had given the order for John to be arrested because John the Baptist was a preacher, right? And John the Baptist told a lot of lessons about God and told stories and gave advice about how people should treat one another. And he said, Herod, you got some suspect behaviors, buddy. I don't like how you're doing things. I don't like your behavior. I don't like some of the things you're doing, and you should change the ways you do things. And Herod was like, whoa, take it easy. And Herod's wife, Herodias, was like, whoa, sassafras, why are you giving us so much heat? Why are you dogging on us? So obviously they didn't like him, but Herod was in a pickle because John the Baptist was so popular, so famous. Every time he spoke, people were like, whoa! That he was like, you know what? In truth, every time I listen to him, he's pretty good. I don't like that he critiques me, but he's very popular. I can't really do much about it. So one day, Herod was having his birthday. He was having a banquet, and he invited officials and military leaders, and he invited the most important people in the Galilee, and the daughter of Herodias came in and danced. So little dance, right? A little dance, and it was actually so good. It was such a good dance. Herod was like, I can't believe how good that was. Wow, that was a heck of a dance. Hey, so good. Thank you so much for my lovely dance birthday present. Would you be interested in a gift? Would you like a gift for dancing so good?
Yes.
Yes, she says. And he goes, you can ask for anything. Anything. You could ask for half my kingdom and I'll give it to you. So, little lady, you just pick what you want. And she goes, if you could have anything, that's a hard answer, right? Because there's just
a lot of options.
Lot of options. So what happens is she goes, okay, let me go ask my mom. She goes and asks her mom. Her mom says, I'll tell you what would be the best thing for this house, for this family, is if there were no more John the Baptist. So she just tells her, like, hey, go ask for your dad to cut John the Baptist's head off. And she goes, okay, because she's just a kid, right? So she goes and she's like, hey, Herod, would you cut John the Baptist's head off? And he goes, ooh, I did say anything. Make it so. It happens. It's despicable. It's gross. It's terrible. But he said it. He's got to do it. That's what his family wanted. So he did it. And the king was very upset about it, but he thought about his promises and about his dinner guests, and he didn't want to say no to the girl, so he sent them straight away. John the Baptist's disciples heard about this, and they came and took his body, and they placed it in a tomb. Ew. So here's my thoughts. This is a sad story, right? That that this would happen after, like, it's like a birthday party. Hi, I want something heinous. And you're probably like, why would you want something like that? But you know what? This is very similar, in my opinion, to when Jesus got executed. Because Jesus shows up in Jerusalem. Everyone's fascinated. Everyone knows about him. Everyone wants to hear from him. And he does some things. He says some things that some people in high positions of power and positions of authority are going, Bud, you're disrupting. You're rocking the boat. I don't like what you're saying. You're stirring the pot. I don't agree with it. And finally, authorities get involved and they're like, what should we do? And someone's like, let's just kill him. And even the authorities in this, Herod, and in the case of Jesus, Pilate, are like, well, I get it. Like, that would be convenient. But, like, should we?
No.
Should we? And they're like, sorry, bud. This is what it means when the group of people who need to be comfort, we need him gone, or we're going to get real fussy about it. So in this case, it's the crowds, the Pharisees with Jesus, and all the temple authorities and stuff like that. And then in John the Baptist's case, it's the king's family and all the people probably in the court. They're like, yeah, bud, you do not want John the Baptist talking trash about you anymore. He is way too popular. Yes, it would be easier. Just get rid of him. So in tragic events in both, Jesus is executed for what? For basically just being a troublemaker, for people saying you're causing trouble, even though it wasn't untrue. Herod kills John the Baptist for being what? A troublemaker, even though kind of what he says is not untrue. There's something to be said here about when we're uncomfortable, we're frustrated with someone. I hope that our desire in those instances, it's fair to say I don't want to be frustrated, or I don't want to be angry, or this person makes me so mad. It's fair. But we have to resist the urge to turn to violence. Because violence doesn't solve it, does it? Violence stops it, but it's still cruel and unusual and awful. Do you think that's what, I mean, he could have talked with John. He could have had conversations with John. They could have talked more with Jesus. You could talk to people you disagree with. You don't have to deal with it because it's most convenient to say, get out of here. Don't want to ever see you again. So for you, maybe you have a friend, or maybe you have somebody in like your neighborhood or at school who just frustrates you, and you just sometimes want to avoid them. Avoiding them's fine, but wanting them to go away and not exist, or to disappear, or heaven forbid, to hurt or to suffer or to want to hit them, we don't need to go that far, because that always ends in tragedy, right? Mm-hmm. That's a sad thing. I encourage all of you to think about what's a way that we can mend our divisions versus just cutting people off, versus just, nope, not talking to you anymore. Nope, not having a conversation. Nope, you don't exist to me, right? We can do better. And heaven forbid, don't ever like hit somebody or hurt somebody just because you disagree with them or because they're frustrating you. We can talk. We can find peaceful ways to handle this. This story is a sad one, I think. Yes. So, well, thanks for joining us, and we hope you have a good week. Make peace, not division. Reconcile, don't divide, right? Don't split up. Let's find ways to be a people of peace that are peacemakers, where we find division and we say, hey, we're going to bring about reconciliation. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Okay, go team.
Go team.
Bye.
Bye.